Hello, beautiful and fabulous people. Welcome to Sassy's World. I'm Jessica, your hostess today. Hello, I'm back. Okay, so wanted to give you a quick update. I start my pre-op diet tomorrow. I'm a little trepidatious about that. I definitely am. So I have to do 3 protein shakes and I get 1 lean meal, which is better than a lot of people get. I know there's a lot of people out there that have to be on a liquid diet for 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't even know if I can handle that. So I'm really excited about the fact that I don't have to do a full liquid diet because I think that that would be awful. So for all of you that have to do that, I'm sorry. You can do it though. Today, we are going to talk about the top 10 things that I learned pre-op. As I mentioned in my intro video, which you can find here, I went to my seminar originally in December, and since then I have learned a ton. It is now October, so it's been about 10 months, and here are the top 10 things that I have learned in my pre-op phase. 1, butter versus olive oil, not vegetable oil. The first one I learned is when I went to my seminar and was listening to the doctor up front, and he was talking about the Mediterranean diet and how that was really one of the healthiest diets to be on. And he started talking about butter versus olive oil, not vegetable oil. One of the things that he told us about the Mediterranean diet is that it was put up in a study against a low-fat American westernized diet. And what they ended up finding was they took 3 different studies. The first one was a straight Mediterranean diet, which focuses more on different vegetables, lean meats, fish, and very little red meat. A lot of beans, legumes. So one of the studies that my surgeon told us about in our initial seminar is the Mediterranean diet versus a westernized low-fat diet. And one of the things they did in this study is they went over 3 different diets. They had 3 different subgroups of people. Mediterranean diet, a Mediterranean diet plus like a liter of olive oil, and then the westernized diet. They had to stop the study early because apparently the people who were on the westernized diet were dying. However, the people that were on the Mediterranean diet and the people that were on the Mediterranean diet plus the additional olive oil were actually losing weight, maintaining weight. So the fact that we use so much butter and so much other saturated fats are part of the problem. So one of the things that I've done in my diet is switching over pretty much everything from butter to olive oil. It's really helped a lot, and I believe has really helped in my journey. No vegetable oil, that's not olive oil. It is not the same thing. 2. Grass-fed versus regular beef. So apparently when cows are not grass-fed and given all this other stuff in order to plump them up faster, they are actually delivering toxic levels of omega-6. Now, omega-3 is really good, and when you can have omega-6, but when the ratio of omega-6 is higher than omega-3, it is actually bad for you. So grass-fed beef is way better for you than non-grass-fed beef. 3, frozen versus fresh. Okay, so now going through the different aisles and sticking around the outside area as well as the frozen section is probably the best place for you. But when you really think about it, I want you to think about the nutritional value of the food that you're eating. Okay, so the nutritional value of the food that you're eating is extremely important because what your body is craving is nutrition. It's not craving calories. It's not craving other stuff like that. What it's craving is physical nutrition, not crap. So the cool thing is that stuff that's frozen, when it's actually picked and then it's frozen and then it's sent to the store, well, freezing it actually saves the nutritional value versus stuff that is actually picked overseas. Because have you ever seen tomatoes in January? No, have you? They are actually shipped over from places like Chile on a big old boat, and they're sprayed with red dye in order to make them red, because when they're picked early so that they have time to get over here and ripen. So they're sprayed in order to keep the red color. So when you actually hear that the fresh aisle is fresh, it's really not that fresh. So a lot of times frozen can actually be a lot better because it still has the nutritional denseness that it did when it was picked, or at least the rate of decay is slowed down quite a bit. Number 4. Weight fluctuations. I don't know about you, but I really some days dread getting on the scale. Oh, do I have to do it again? What's it gonna be like today? So, since about December, I started weighing myself almost every day. And a lot of people will tell you, don't do that. Don't do that because you're just freaking yourself out. Don't do it. I, on the other hand, have found it as more of a motivating factor to log everything. I'm kind of an all in or all out girl. So to me, logging things every day keeps me on track. It keeps me honest with myself, and it keeps me really from cheating myself because, you know, when you are a food addict, you will often find ways to get around yourself, just like you would if you were smoking cigarettes or alcohol or anything else where you have to talk yourself into doing what you think that you need in your life. You will have weight fluctuations. As much as you don't want to, you will. And one of the things that I've really learned in this is that your weight can fluctuate 5 to 10 pounds or, you know, or less, obviously, within a week. You know, obviously a really bad week is a 10-pound fluctuation. And I've seen those while drinking and other things, eating really salty meals that makes me retain a lot of water, and then my weight's up really high, and then I keep drinking water for a few days and it slowly comes back down and I can resolve the issue. I don't know about you, but one of the things that I always got frustrated with is I would do really, really good for a couple of weeks, would do awesome, I'm thinking, woohoo, I'm killing it, I'm killing it. But then all of a sudden I start gaining 2 pounds to 3 pounds and I'm like, what is going on? Why is this happening? Why? I'm following my diet. Why is this happening? One of the things that I've learned is that right before your body actually starts shedding the weight and starts letting go of some of the fat that it has, is it'll start retaining water. It'll start retaining water and it'll start flushing that fat out. Okay, so you're sitting there thinking, okay, I'm not losing any weight or I'm gaining weight, but then what ends up happening is if you stay with it, you actually push past that barrier and you start to lose the weight. If you revert back at that moment, you start losing all the progress that you have, but you have to keep pushing past that point. So understand there's going to be weight fluctuations no matter what you do, and don't get discouraged by the little ones. Just increase your water, increase your activity, and keep on pushing, because ultimately there's no reason to slash your other 3 tires when you get a flat. I've done that. Number 5. Number 5, vitamins. Okay, I mentioned this in my intro video. Vitamins are truly, truly important because you ultimately have to give your body nutrition. And in order to give your body nutrition, unless you can eat, you know, a super large amount of all these different vitamin-rich things, which you're not going to be able to do, especially when you have surgery, that you need to make sure that you're taking your vitamins and you get used to taking them. I take a bariatric multivitamin. I take a B complex. I take calcium citrate, not the other one because that one doesn't work. I also take, what else do I take? I take magnesium. I also take some other stuff. So whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that your levels are good is something that you need to do. And you need to talk to your doctor and your nutritionist about that, because they will help you and guide you in the right direction. 6. Water. Water, 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 and water. Water! So yummy. Okay. Water is so super important. You should be drinking at least between 60 and upwards of 100, depending on your weight, ounces of water per day. Drinking some water. The more water that you flush through your system, especially as you are trying to lose this weight and trying to detox, the more that you flush your body with water, the better off that you're gonna end up being, the better you're gonna feel, and the faster that you're gonna see the weight coming off. Water is a super important part of your body and a part of your system, and so do whatever you can to get that water in. 7. Moving. Okay, a really important thing to do is make sure you keep moving. Now, I know I talked about my handy dandy Fitbit on my last one, and it is really super important to make sure that you are moving around, that you are increasing your activity week over week. Now, week over week, I haven't always been able to do it, but it's kind of a two steps forward, one step back kind of a mentality. A lot of times I'll be able to take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and be able to see some progress over time. So as I mentioned, I've almost doubled my steps and where I've been able to go. Now, again, some weeks are better than others. Some weeks I do really, really well, and other weeks I don't. And my goal is okay, if I have a bad week, if I'm having a bad back week, then I just continue pushing on the following week, and I just keep trying to do better. It's okay to fall down every once in a while, but you got to keep getting back up. Keep getting up. 8. Number 8 is veggetti rules. Okay, I don't know if you guys have tried this, but I love my veggetti. I love it. Oh, I love you, love you, love you. Check out this awesome veggetti meal I made. It was so yummy. I was a huge Italian lover, like huge. Brought up with it, loved Italian. I have all my grandmother's best recipes. I have family over for Italian days. I mean, it's a big part of my life. And so when I had to cut out pasta at the beginning of the year, I was a little miffed, okay? But I did it well in advance of my surgery because I wanted to make sure that I could do it. Because one of my biggest setbacks in not doing the surgery before this time is I'm not giving up pasta. I'm not giving up bread. Are you out of your mind? I'm not doing that. No. But then I kept gaining weight and decided, okay, well, maybe I really kind of need to do this. Since I've done it, at first it was like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And as a couple of months went on, I really had my moments where I struggled, and then I found veggetti. I love my veggetti. So what I end up doing is take a little bit of olive oil. Oop, there's that olive oil. Take a little bit of olive oil, some mushrooms, saute those up with a little bit of seasoning, put my veggetti noodles in there, saute those up, throw like a quarter to a half a cup of my sauce in there, finish frying that up, a couple of meatballs, bam, yummy meal. Oh, and that's eggplant parmesan, which is so good. Don't look at me like that. No, don't look at me like that. Until you've tried it, don't look at me like that. Everybody always looks at me like that when I tell them it's eggplant parmesan, and then they try it and they go, can I have another one? Yeah, see, don't look at me like that. I love you. 9. Support groups. Support groups are important. I cannot tell you how important support groups are or how much they've been for me. So I joined my first online Facebook support group in December. Literally the first weekend after I got out of my seminar, I came home and I said, okay, there's gotta be some kind of support on Facebook or something like that. So I looked it up and I found one. Since then, I've joined probably 4 other ones. I need lots of help. They've been really helpful for me because I've been able to really get a good handle on what to expect, what kind of things that people are going through, what kind of questions people have. And I've spent the last 10 months like engrossed in these different support groups, trying to understand every single facet of how people feel, how people think, what kind of complications that they have, what are they going through, so that I can try to anticipate what I'm gonna go through and how I can try to prevent myself from stepping in some of the landmines that other people have. And now there's never anything that somebody can do regarding certain mishaps that happen as regards to complications directly from surgery. And there's a lot of other things that we can do to prevent certain issues, like following your doctor's plan, making sure that you adhere to your nutrition plan for the first 6 weeks to 2 months, because the first 2 to 3 months are when sutures can break, different bad things can happen if you're not following your plan. So that's really important to make sure that you follow your plan. So I've learned a lot, and I definitely suggest that you join a support group. If you ever need any suggestions on one, come find me on Facebook and tell me you need to be introduced to a group, and I would love to share one of my support groups with you. So if you like, share, and subscribe, we can easily stay in touch. So 10. Okay, this is the final one, but it is definitely probably the most important. Be honest with yourself and be kind to yourself. You will have days where you mess up. You will have days where you eat the wrong thing. You will have bad moments. But just because you have a bad moment doesn't mean you have to have a bad day. Just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you need to have a bad week. Because you have a bad week doesn't mean you have to have a bad month. Get back on track, okay? You are on a journey. You are on a journey going somewhere. And you may have 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but as long as you keep having 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you still have a net gain of 1. Okay, you're still going forward in the right direction, okay? It's when you have the 2 steps backwards and the 1 step forward that you start losing that ground. So be honest with yourself. Am I really following my doctor's plan? Am I really doing what I should be doing? Am I really getting up and moving like I should? Am I really doing all these different things? So be honest with yourself about what it is that you're doing. And that's something that I've really had to do. When I'm having a bad day or I'm having a bad week, I have to really be honest with myself and say, okay, what have I done? Analyze why. Why am I doing this? Am I being emotionally triggered? Is there something that's causing me to make the wrong decisions? Is there something going on? And try to analyze that and see if you can figure that out so you can get to the root of the problem so that you can get around it. Sometimes, you know, when things get really hard and I'm in a conversation with my husband and we're having a bad day or we're having one of those bad moments and, you know, we think all is lost. I have to remind him and I have to remind myself that why in the world would we slash all 3 of our tires when we only got 1 flat? It's much easier to fix 1 problem than it is to fix 4. So remember, if you have 1 problem, fix the 1 problem. Don't be so upset about it that you go out and slash the other 4 tires. Doesn't do you any good. The second part of this is be kind to yourself, okay? Understand you're going to have slip-ups and understand that things do happen. And this is a journey, so progress, not perfection, because you're not gonna be perfect. There's only one person that's perfect, and he's up there. So you will never be perfect no matter how much you try, and no matter how wonderful you definitely are, you're not going to be perfect and you will make slip-ups. So understand, accept those, know that this is a journey and know that you're just making progress. And pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep on going. So all we can do is be kind to yourself and give yourself the grace that he gives us. And also tap into his strength and know that through Christ we can do all things. And so no matter what, you can do this, okay? Even if you've never been able to do it before, this is the time that you can do it. So do not be discouraged by your struggles. Do not be discouraged because you can do this. Just remember, even though you may have taken a step back, try twice as hard tomorrow and make 2 steps forward. Get your forward steps in when you can. Every time you put something in your mouth is a chance to make a better decision. And you can totally do this. You can do this. And together, we can do this. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Please like, share, subscribe, and feel free to find me on Facebook as well at Sasssygirrll, just like the YouTube channel. I love you all. Have a blessed day. Quiet on the set. I don't know how hard it is to make this work. My daughter says she wants to say hello.
Hi, beautiful people. This is my mom. I love her.
And I love you. Give me kisses. Mwah. Okay, stop. But I'm like, shake it all out, shake it all out. Get it going. Blow in.